You guys know there is nothing, and I mean nothing, more exciting than the first startup with an exhaust mod. What's up everyone, this is Scott with Team 512.
And Eliza with Team 512.
And we're back
with another video.
And so what are we doing today, Eliza?
We are putting a new Xpipe from AWE on our C7 Corvette.
So if you haven't checked out my previous video, alright guys, I'm underneath the C7 Grand Sport. This car has the full system on it?
Yep, full Cat Back touring.
Now I know what I put my passengers through. I'll put a link above my head here. I actually had a chance to visit AWE's world headquarters and manufacturing facility outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I got to see the whole process, start to finish, on how they design exhaust systems for the C7 Corvette and many, many other cars.
And there was also a girl welder.
There was a female welder, and if you watch that video, you'll be able to see her. Before we get started, we're going to take a before sound clip, and we'll use this handy decibel app here and see if we can actually get a higher reading or a louder sound out of the AWE Xpipe over the stock one. Comparison, Eliza screamed a max level of 132.7 decibels. Alright everybody, we're ready to take the before test using the decibel app that I downloaded, and I'm anxious to see how loud the stock exhaust system actually is on this C7. So let's set up the app and get started. Alright you guys, I went back and looked at the video on the camera here, and it looks like it hit 126, 127, maybe 128. Now we're going to get the car up on the lift and start taking off the stock Xpipe, putting on the AWE Xpipe. Alright everybody, so we have 24 13mm bolts that are holding on the plate down here. And so before we can get to the stock Xpipe, we've got to take all of these down. So
see you in a bit.
See you in a bit. And there we go. The tunnel plate is successfully extracted.
Yeah!
Alright, so now with the tunnel plate gone, we have full access to the Xpipe. The first thing I'm going to do is loosen these two band clamp bolts. You can see there's one on each side, and they are 17mm bolts. And they look a little rusty, so we're going to see. Actually, they're not bad. So I have both of the band clamp nuts loose. We have two bolts here for the exhaust hanger, and then we're going to turn our attention to the front of the car. Alright, we're at the front of the car. You can see we have two studs for each pipe, and there are two 15mm nuts that we're going to have to remove. So we'll start doing that now. Sometimes there's no substitute for hand tools. Okay, now that we got the front loose, we're going to come back here and we're going to take care of these two exhaust hanger bolts. And they are 13mm. Alright, there's two donut gaskets here that we're going to try to preserve because I don't have new donut gaskets, and the AWE kit does not come with them. So you need to be careful when you're removing the Xpipe that you don't damage the donut gaskets, and in fact it might be a good idea just to go ahead and buy new ones in preparation for doing this modification. which I didn't do, so. Alright, so now the front is off. We have to turn our attention to the back where the band clamps are. They are loose, but you may have to do a little bit of jiggling and figgling and maybe a little tap with a hammer to kind of loosen up the Xpipe from the axle back. Alright, so this is where another set of hands is extremely helpful, but I lost my lovely assistant, so I'm going to have to do this on my own. Got a mallet here. It's coming. Get ready, you guys. One side off. Alright, so there we go. Here's the factory Xpipe off of C7 Corvette. Alright, here's the factory Xpipe that I just removed from the C7, and here's the AWE pipe. Got a set of calipers here that will turn on, and let's compare the outside diameter of each pipe. Stock pipe says 2.73 inches, and at the same location on the AWE we have exactly 3 inches. The pipe from AWE is a full 3 inches all the way back. If we also look at both pipes, you can see that obviously there's cats on here. No cats on the AWE pipe. We also notice the location of the X is a little bit further back on the AWE pipe. And then you can see there's some dents in the factory pipe and some sections kind of welded together. The AWE pipe has a nice straight flow through design. Alright, here's the bag that you get with the Xpipe from AWE. Let's open it up and dump it out. Alright, new band clamps, a couple stickers, signature AWE blow pop, this one in sour apple flavor, and new hardware for the front of the Xpipe. And remember, we also have to get those donut gaskets off as well. So let's get started doing that. Alright, so the donut gaskets are located here on the front of the factory Xpipe, and you want to be really, really careful in getting these off unless you've purchased new ones. If you purchase new ones, well, you don't really have to worry about it. So I'm going to try to get these off and keep them in really good condition. Alright, so this passenger side one is sliding off nicely. I just have a flat bladed screwdriver here and I'm being very, very careful. Looks like it's in fairly good condition. We'll reuse that one. Now we'll go ahead and we will get the driver's side one off. There you go. But I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you just buy new donut gaskets. They're really cheap. You probably get a pair of them for 20 or 30 bucks and you won't have to worry about getting them off and maybe damaging them. Alright, here is the exhaust hanger. We'll go ahead and try to remove this here. Whew. There we go. That might have been the hardest part of this job so far. Thankfully, it's a lot easier getting the hanger on the new pipe. Alright, donut gaskets are in place. All I did was just tap them back on with a rubber mallet. The only other thing to do now is to lift the pipe back into position and reverse the process. Liza, I need your help, babe. Okay, come behind back here. I think we got one threaded. That was the second set of hands I needed. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these exhaust hanger bolts in, but not snug. Just thread it in there enough so that the pipe doesn't fall, because I still have to make sure that it slips over top of the axle back here, and then we can work our way back to the front. Alright, so now we're going to turn our attention here to the front of the car. AWE gives you all the hardware you need to reconnect the new Xpipe. Alright, so there's a little bit of a gap here. I think I have it slipped over the axle back too far. I'm going to try tightening this up a little bit first. There we go. It's drawing that gap a little closer for us. Now I've got enough room to work here that I pulled this a little closer and everything is threading on nicely. We want to do this evenly and make sure the donut gasket gets seated nicely. Alright, so we're getting ready to tighten up this band clamp right here. Now let's go over to the other side and get that one tight. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to get the tunnel plate on and we're all set. So the car is down on the ground. I spared you the expense of watching me put that tunnel plate back on and lowering the car, but it is down, and you guys know there is nothing, and I mean nothing, more exciting than the first startup with an exhaust mod. So this will be a semi-cold start with the AWE Xpipe now installed on the C7. I cannot wait. So I'm going to put the camera down and you guys are going to be able to hear the cold start for the first time with the AWE Xpipe. Let's do it. Alright you guys, it definitely has a little bit more grumpiness to the sound of that exhaust right now. Can you hear that? Yeah, it's a little deeper than the stock Xpipe, but we won't really know how much of a difference the AWE Xpipe made over the stock one until it warms up a little bit. We can do a decibel test again, and then we'll probably take it for a little bit of a ride so we can hear what it sounds like inside of the car. Alright guys, now it's time for the decibel test after the AWE Xpipe has been installed. Alright guys, what did it say? Because it definitely sounded louder from inside the car. I can't wait to hear what this thing's going to sound like on the road test, and I can't wait to review the video here and see what we just hit on the decibel meter. So yeah, let's get the camera hooked up inside the car and take it for a spin. Now AWE does claim a small horsepower increase. I think somewhere between like 3 and 5 horsepower. So I'm guessing I won't feel the difference here. Yeah, sounds pretty good. It definitely feels smoother. The exhaust doesn't feel, I don't know how to explain it. Other than the exhaust sounds smoother. I guess freer flowing. Well, now when you get up into the RPMs a little bit, I guess I was close to about 5,000 right there. You start to hear it open up more. A little higher in the rev range, it sounds quite a bit better than the stock Xpipe did. Nothing dramatic when you're cruising though. It almost has a stock sound to it. It's not until you open it up and get into those higher RPMs where you really start to feel or hear the difference in the sound with this Xpipe. Again, if you haven't seen that video where I toured the AWE World Headquarters, you ought to take a look at it. Those guys care a lot about what they do, and they create some really high-end or boutique level exhaust systems. It definitely makes some more glorious sounds at higher RPMs. That was a nice little pull to 35 miles an hour. Alright, so I just got back from the first drive with the AWE Xpipe installed. Yeah, I changed my shirt because it was kind of dirty, stinky, and sweaty. And yes, this is the shirt I bought to try to win that Grand Sport. And obviously I didn't win the Grand Sport. I had to buy one myself. But a few things about the AWE Xpipe that I want you guys to know. First of all, the fit and finish was top-notch. Perfect. The hardware was top-notch as well, and everything went together really, really easily, as you saw in the video. In terms of the sound difference, at cruising speeds, not much difference in the sound at all in terms of the volume. I will say that when you accelerate, it does feel like it revs a little smoother, if that's possible. I don't know if that's just some bias because I just installed some exhaust on there or not, but it definitely feels like it's a little smoother when you're pressing on the accelerator. Now where the car really wakes up is about 4,000 RPMs and higher. That's when you can really hear the difference between the stock Xpipe and this AWE Xpipe. Man, that thing makes awesome sound, but you got to get up into the RPM range to really hear it. So this just kind of furthers my my thoughts about putting the full touring axle back on, which obviously I heard at the AWE headquarters when I was there in the last video. And again, you guys got to watch that video. It's awesome what they're doing for modern muscle cars here in the domestic market is just awesome. It's incredible. So I wouldn't hesitate recommending AWE to all of you. So that'll do it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out with me, and spending part of your day with me. Smash that like button. Please subscribe, and always leave me some comments because I love interacting with you guys because you love cars and Corvettes just as much as I do. Till next time, see ya.